Welcome to the world's greatest gold camp, historic Goldfield, Nevada. At one time, this was the largest city in all of the state, boasting a population of some 20,000 residents in 1907. A fortune in rich gold ore was extracted from the hills here around Columbia Mountain, and today it seems like you can't throw a heavy stone without hitting an old mine or test pit. But riches aren't what we're after today. We're here to explore some of Goldfield's other treasures, the hundreds of miles of off-road recreation trails, and countless pieces of history left scattered around town. So buckle up, grab your rock hammer just in case, and come along on a ride through history, off-road southwest in beautiful Goldfield, Nevada. Situated on US Highway 95, just about 3 hours north of Las Vegas, or 4 hours south of Reno, Tahoe, Goldfield is in a remote spot between the Great Basin and Mojave Desert. But in the early 1900s, this place had major railroads serving it and was the epicenter of a gold rush that changed Nevada forever. Though at first glance, it may look like Goldfield is a ghost town, don't call it that. A quick stop at any of the places around town and you'll find the locals here sure are full of life. Goldfield is a living ghost town, preserved in a state of arrested decay by those same folks who have cared for it so well, ever since the last boom went bust. And after today's adventure, I think you'll definitely understand why. Despite all our modern conveniences, there is still a rite of passage coming out here, much like there was for the hardy prospectors over a century ago, because Goldfield is a genuine experience frozen in time. In fact, as of this video, Goldfield doesn't even have a gas station yet, so a little planning is necessary. But that's how the folks here like it. Rugged, remote, resilient. If you're anything like that, you're going to love it also. So make sure to fuel up in Beatty coming from the south, or in Tonopah, a short 30 minutes to the north, and pack your recovery gear and some extra water, because once you get up in those colorful hills, you can get lost for days in some of the most remote countryside in the West. And stay tuned after our off-road adventures, because we're going to take you back and show you some of the old haunts around town. Are you ready? Let's go! Now the trails you see around Goldfield aren't just randomly placed around the desert. Well, some of them are, by local off-road guru Ron Matheny, longtime proprietor of Diamond Field Gulch. He was kind enough to show us around many of the old trails that led to mines, natural springs, and a whole lot of history. Along the way, we followed old railroad grades that once interconnected this part of the desert like arteries. And for you historic rail fans, some of these old rail beds can be a treasure trove of adventure and history. That's where we'll start today, driving along the old Las Vegas and Tonopah railroad grade just east of town. You can clearly tell when you find the old rail bed out here because of the distinct raised grade that evens out the washes. Just driving along, you can imagine all the work it took out here in the unforgiving desert to connect these boom towns together one at a time. And what an experience it must have been as a passenger to ride the rails through this barren landscape over 100 years ago, just steaming forward in awe, wondering what fate awaits you out in this strange and exciting land. These railroad routes were critical for connecting all the mines, mills, and work camps, scattered like buckshot throughout the hills. It must have seemed at one time in Goldfield, you could have dug a hole just about anywhere and found some shiny. One of the coolest places Ron led us to was a long-forgotten mining camp hidden way back in the hills near the boundary of what is now Area 51. It's amazing to think that people survived all the way out here with no modern amenities. The brute ruggedness of those who came before us can't be understated. At one time, Ron told us he believes that this was a fairly successful mining camp which included a blacksmith shop. And just to show you how remote this area is, we wound a little further through the desert and hit a seldom traveled back gate marking the entrance to the Nevada Test and Training Range, also known as Area 51. We can only imagine all the hidden history, both mining and prehistoric, that lies behind these forbidden areas. After a quick look around, we doubled back on the trail and continued. Not long after heading down another rocky path, we came upon a beautiful natural spring that seemed to emerge from the middle of nowhere. And it's places like this that are really amazing to discover for yourself. What a neat place. Ron informed us that we could usually catch some horses or burros down here, but we may have scared them off in the Jeep convoy. So we checked out the source of the spring under a cool rock overhang, then we loaded back up and went looking for them. Not far down the trail, Ron led us to another spring area, where we caught a beautiful band of wild horses. There is just something about coming upon a band of wild horses roaming free like this. It truly gives you the spirit of the Old West in Americana. After seeing countless fuzzy burros roaming aimlessly around the hills, we were excited to come upon these wild horses also. Please remember to always give these animals their space out here, as they are still wild as the West, and as the saying goes, they kick like a mule. Our trail ride through history continued along, with Ron pointing out several other interesting mining areas and some amazing sites that are currently being preserved. It is incredible to see things sitting out here in the desert like the miners just left yesterday. Remember that abandoned mines are dangerous and unstable. They should not be entered or explored by inexperienced visitors. Many sites are also private property or currently under claim. Please be respectful of all posted signs, and if you come across any open mines, as the saying goes, stay out, stay alive. After a long day exploring in the hills, just like the miners before us, we were ready to head back into town for some refreshments and entertainment. And once again, Ron led us back down into Goldfield to the very end of 5th Street, where we arrived at the Santa Fe Saloon, known as the longest continuously operating bar in the state of Nevada. Here you can grab a drink, play some slots, and check out the history plastered all over the walls. What a cool joint. And if you're hungry, just head back up Columbia Street to Mozart Tavern, where you can get drinks and food as well. And sure, you may have hit social hour back at the Santa Fe, but feel free to grab a drink at the Mozart also. After all, you don't want to be like the last guy who drank the water out here. If you're up early like us, breakfast is over at the Dinky Diner on Crick Avenue. And just like every other building in town, this place has a lot of history as well. At one point, there was a church in this location. Then they built a garage and filling station. The owner still has the deed to the original building on the wall. You can read more about this one on the historic walking tour. Now maybe you are just passing through and don't have much time to do any real off-roading at all. Well, that's okay too. You can still check out the International Car Force with some easy graded gravel roads to poke around while you check out all the artwork. Just remember to stay on the established trails here and be respectful of the rules posted at the entrance, as the car forest is private property that the owner has opened for the public's enjoyment. So yes, even if you're just passing through, stop off and take a picture or two. And don't forget your Goldfield gear, turquoise jewelry, or historic items from the local curios around town. The newly opened Rusty Cove is right at the bend coming from the north. Really neat clothing, jewelry, and rustic artwork in here. Something for everyone. And right in the center of town, you'll see the art cars in front of the Gemfield headquarters. This is the spot if you are planning a rock hounding trip to Gemfield right up the highway, which is exactly what another YouTuber was just here doing. Can you guess who? Goldfield certainly offers a lot of fun activities for adventurous spirits. On the south end of town, you'll find the Hidden Treasure Trading Post. Head down here for more turquoise jewelry and rustic western goods. There is a whole outpost down here. And once that sun starts sinking low on the ridge, hit the streets near sundown for a historic walking tour. Before you head out, visit the Goldfield Historic Society online and grab a digital walking tour booklet at the link here. This booklet will give descriptions of all the numbered historical plaques you see around town, and just about everything has an interesting story. Oh, and I almost forgot to mention, did you know Goldfield has its own radio station? Yep, that's right, broadcasting right out of their new location in the big red caboose as you drive through town. You can listen to Radio Goldfield KGFN 89.1 as you putt around the hills looking for treasures, or just walk the streets at night looking for ghosts. Later on, when you're getting a bit weary, you can crash at one of the several RV parks or book a historic Airbnb. On the northern side of town is Clark's Custom Camp, Goldfield Coach Landing, and Goldfield RV Park. And in the middle of town off Columbia is the Rustic Miners Camp RV Park. And even though we had our camper with us, we opted to take a load off in the Downer Brothers Assay Office, an Airbnb inside the miners' camp. This has been wonderfully converted into a rustic cabin, but with so much history left intact.
What's in the back?
Take a look.
How cool is this?
Oh, wow.
Oh, cute. It's got like a little vanity. Oh, a blow dryer.
Look at that.
There are also some neat rustic Airbnb cabins at the Goldfield Stop-In, part of the Coach Landing and Rusty Cove. We'll include a list of all these places at the end of the video for you. And though the magnificent Goldfield Hotel still towers over town, there are no flashy 5-star accommodations here. Just the authentic experience. We very much appreciated the unpolluted night sky and the restful quiet of the empty desert that this lonely stretch of Nevada is known for. Though gold mining once ran the streets here, the current activities in Goldfield are all about soaking up the town's history and the quirky vibe of the surrounding desert. Take the Goldfield Historic Walking Tour we mentioned earlier, go rock hounding for gems at nearby Gemfield, or just grab a drink at the Santa Fe Saloon, proudly serving since 1905. Don't forget the cool art installations along the Free Range Art Highway, and if you're into ghost hunting, the hotel, schoolhouse, and other spots nearby are a must for paranormal enthusiasts.
So you could actually sit on those desks, and then you can see all the old carvings from the kids that would...
To this day, Goldfield remains a living testament to the relentless boom and bust spirit of the American West. From its gold-fueled rise to its fiery fall and current-day preservation, Goldfield's stories still echo through the quiet streets and empty buildings, filling them with life. If you're ever cruising US 95, stop off and feel the pulse of a boomtown that refuses to go bust. Until next time, you be safe down that dusty trail, friend. We'll hope to see you again soon, back at the world's greatest gold camp. Thanks for joining us on this journey. An extra special thanks to Ron Matheny in Diamondfield and all the kind folks in Goldfield for showing us around. Make sure to visit the Goldfield Historical Society online for a wealth of information and walking tour booklets. Or just stop in the Welcome Center when you arrive. They'd be glad to have you.